Good morning, students. Good morning to all. And last day we have studied about the 20th chapter, International Finance. And in that lessons, we have studied the foreign direct investment and the functions of foreign direct investments. And at the end of the foreign direct investment, our 20th chapter has been over. Today, just we will go to the next chapter. Chapter 21, the micro, small and medium enterprises and the self-help group. So already we have studied in our previous lessons about the micro and small and medium scale enterprises. So in here the enterprises and the entrepreneurship, because if you are considering the three type of the enterprises, so the good entrepreneurship is very much important. So the entrepreneurship is the key for economic development of any country by empowering the entrepreneurs. So micro, small and medium scale sectors provides more employment opportunities to the people in India, because all the large scale industries can never providing the employment opportunities for all categories of peoples, because throughout the world many of the peoples are locating, but even the educated peoples and the uneducated people will never get the employment opportunities in these large scale industries only. So the micro, small and medium scale enterprises only and take the more responsibilities automatically to providing the employment opportunities to all the peoples. So not only that, it provides equitable distributions of national income and wealth. So comparing to the large scale industries, the most of the percentage of national income is coming from the micro, small and medium scale enterprises only. So the micro and small and medium scale enterprises are classified into two types or two classes. So one is the manufacturing enterprises and the service enterprises. So the manufacturing enterprises refers to the enterprises engaged in the manufacturing or production of goods pertaining to any industry specified in the first schedule to the Industries Act. So any of the enterprises are involving in the purpose of producing or manufacturing any of the goods only is considered as a manufacturing enterprises. Next, service enterprises. The service enterprises refers to the engaged in providing or rendering the services. So what are the services are provided by any of the enterprises or organizations is considered or called as a service enterprises. So these manufacturing enterprises and the service enterprises also belonging with the micro, small and medium scale enterprises. Next, the role and significance of medium, small and micro level enterprises. So what are the importance are there to improving the economic development by the micro, small and medium scale enterprises? So under the sum of points we can explain the role and the significance of micro and small and medium scale enterprises. First one is employment potential. Employment potential. So the micro, small and medium scale enterprises generate more employment opportunities than large scale business concerns. Because already we have studied when we are comparing to the large scale industries, the number of small, medium and large micro level enterprises only are pertaining or prevailing throughout the world as more. So they are mostly labor intensive, because these micro, small and medium scale enterprises can never involved or purchasing the more expensive materials and the machineries. So all these categories of enterprises only will be allowed or engaged with the labor intensive only. So without having the purpose of or the help of the machineries, so what are the ways are there to improving their productions, so they will use. So in this sense, the micro, small and medium scale enterprises only will use the labor intensive method. So in this sense, so all the peoples or most of the peoples can able to get the employment opportunities. Thus, they provide more employment opportunities to a large number of people in India. Their living standard also will be increased. And what are the purpose or what are the benefit will be arised when they are getting the employment opportunities? Everything will be possibilities because of the micro, small, and medium scale enterprises. Next, low production cost. The micro, small, and medium scale enterprises do not require skilled laborers or the professionals to run the organizations. So mostly this type of organizations only involved the peoples around the localized area. So even if the peoples are educated or uneducated, so this type of the categories enterprises will use all the human resources to the production purposes. So because of that, it employs cheap labor and thus minimizes the overhead. They can able to produce more products with the help of the cheap labor. So these units are more cost efficient than the large scale units. Thus facilitates the production of goods at the low cost. So when they are arranged the cheap labor for the production purpose, they can easily increasing the supply of product, and because of that the price of that purpose, the price of that product will be very lower, and even all the producers and the consumers also can have the possibilities to get the any type of productions, any type of the product with the low cost. So the producers also will get the benefit because of the low production cost, and because of that the consumers also will have the possibilities to get any type of the commodities with the low price. Next, the low investment. So when we are comparing to the large scale industries, the micro, small, and medium scale enterprises do not require a huge capital to start the unit. So even any of the cottage industries or the micro level industries can able to start any of the industries with the help of the amount, lowest amount, for example 1 lakh rupees. With the help of the 1 lakh rupees, any of the cottage industries or any of the entrepreneur can easily start or run any of the industries. So it can employ locally available resources within the reach of the owner. So there is no need to purchasing many of the high raw materials. So they can easily purchase any of the raw materials which is availability in the localized area. And they help to perfect and promote traditional family skills and handicrafts. So even if any of the entrepreneurs doesn't have the number of workers, they can easily adapt their family members, and because of that their own living standard of their family also will be increased, and the purpose of the employment opportunity also will be increased. Next, quick decision making. So in this large scale industries only, many type of the hierarchy authority persons are there. The board of directors are the directors, and the managers and the chief managers, like that many of the persons will be there. Where they want to taking any of the decisions, they have to consider with all each others. But here not like that. In these micro and small scale medium enterprises need not hire professional managers to run the management on a day to day basis. So whenever they want to take a decision related with the extended of their organizations or the arrival of new productions and the innovations of the new productions, they can easily taking without the consultations of any other peoples. So in most cases the owner himself manages the enterprises, hence timely decision making becomes easy and effective. So there is no need to making the separate meeting to take the decisions. So even when the owners they are going to walking, they can easily taking the decisions. Next is supplementary role. So what are the supplementary roles are there in these micro and small medium enterprises means? So these categories enterprises play a complementary role to serve as a feeder to large scale industries. They supply accessories, spare parts and components of large scale industries. Even if you want to say, we can say there is no possibilities to enlarge or establish the large scale industries without the help of the micro, small and medium scale enterprises, because most of the raw materials or the semi finished product are produced by the micro and small medium scale enterprises only. The large scale industries must depending upon the small and medium scale enterprises, because the large scale industries only will be doing the assembly industries. So all the semi finished product is purchased from the micro, small and medium scale enterprises, and after that only the large scale industries will be doing the assembling work. So the large scale industries must be depending upon the micro and small scale industries. Next, establishment of socialist pattern of society. The micro, small and medium scale sectors contributes towards the establishment of socialistic pattern of society by reducing the concentration of income and wealth. By reducing the concentration of income and wealth, so this category of industries easily provided the social welfare to the societies, and comparing to the large scale industries, this type of the industries only will take more responsibility to the social welfare. Next, the balanced regional development. So by encouraging micro, small and medium scale enterprises in industrially backward areas of India, so balanced development can be achieved across all the regions, because all the entrepreneurs cannot able to start at the large scale industries beginning itself, but all the entrepreneurs can easily start at any of the micro or cottage or medium scale enterprises even in the rural areas. So when they are establishing any type of the industries even in the rural areas, so the regional disparities will be reduced. So all the regional also will be get the balanced development. So it will also help greatly in preventing the people from migrating to cities and towns in pursuit of employment. So when they are establishing this type of the industries even in the rural areas, the rural people can never being in need of migrate from the rural to urban areas. Next, promotion of self-employment. The micro, small and medium scale enterprises help to a great deal in developing a class of entrepreneurs. It promotes self-employment and spirit of self-reliance in the society. So after establishing one of the industries in this rural area or any of the area, one entrepreneurs will definitely get the self-reliance and the self-confidence, and this type of the self-confidence also will be spread out over to the other people such as their friend and their societies and their family members. So because of that, this type of the entrepreneurs will be spread out over the confidence overall their societies. Next, higher contributions to export. So this type of the categories of enterprises contribute 45% to the total manufacturing output and 40% to the exports from the country. So already as I told, so the 40 or the 60% of gross domestic product and the 40% of exports also will be going from the micro, small and medium scale enterprises only. So it helps in earning precious foreign exchange in various countries across the world. Okay students, then next concept, the self-help group. Already we have studied in our previous class itself about the self-help group. The self-help group is a small informal voluntary associations created for the purpose of enabling the members to reap the economic benefit out of the mutual help. So normally we can see in our society many of the self-help groups are existing. So the male self-help group and the female self-help group. So normally in the word itself we can easily understand the meaning of self-help group. So some number of peoples are joined together, and if they are formed one of the organizations for the purpose of enabling their members to reap the economic benefit out of the mutual help and the solidarity and the joint responsibilities. So all the peoples are some of the peoples are joined together, and they will organize one of the organizations for the purpose of reaping the economic benefit. On what basis mean? On the basis of mutual help and the solidarity and the joint responsibility. The benefit includes mobilization of savings and credit facilities for the pursuit of the group enterprises activity. So because on the basis of the self-help group, the every person also will have the habit of savings. So these savings also will be transferring from the group to one persons, and the group enterprises activities also will be improving the self-help group. Okay student, next the objectives of self-help group and the functions of self-help groups are so there, but I am thinking it is not too much needed, because not too much needed to explaining. Just when you are reading yourself you can easily understand. So just you study. When you have any doubt, just ask me, then we can go to the next chapters. Next chapter, chapter 22, the types of trade. So already we have studied about the trade. Normally we know about the meaning of trade. The buying and selling of goods and services is considered as a trade. The buying and selling of goods and services consist of trade. If any of the goods or services is going to purchase or going to sell, it is called as trade. So the essence of trade is to make goods and services available to those persons who need them and are able to willing to pay for them. So wherever the demand for goods are arising, in that place the trade will be happened. And not only that, that persons must be able to paying the money for that commodities. So anyway, the purchasing and the selling of goods and services is considered as a trade. So we can classify the trade as a two types. First one is internal trade and the external trade. So internal trade means, we know very well because we have studied already about the internal trade. The buying and selling of goods and services within the boundaries of the nations are called internal trade. The buying and selling of goods and services within the boundaries of our nations are called internal trade. So all the purchasing and sales of the goods are occurring within our country itself. It is considered, or it is called, the internal trade. So it takes place between buyers and the sellers in the same locality or village or town or city or in the different states, but definitely within the same country. So within the country, the productions may be occurs within the corner of one state, and in the same product is going to consumed with the another corner of the same state is considered as internal trade. The internal trade is also called domestic trade or the home trade. So in this one word exam, or if any of the questions, if you are getting the questions, the internal trade or the home trade or the domestic trade, you must write the same answer only. Okay, so the home trade, internal trade and the domestic trade. So if this same word only, so in this what are the word, if you are getting any questions, you have to write the same questions only. Okay, next is the features of internal trade. So every trade also has one type of the peculiar features. So in this sense, the internal trade also has some of the particular features. So what are the features are there in this internal trade mean? So the internal trade, in this internal trade, the buying and selling of goods take place within the boundaries of the same countries. So even there are more states, but all the product will be produced, and the produced commodities going to purchase and sell within the boundaries of our nations only. So that time only we can consider it is the internal trade. Next, the payment for goods and services is made in the currency of the home countries. So even what type of the commodity is going to purchase and selling within the country, the currency is used only in our home country. The home country's currency only is going to used for the purpose of purchasing or selling the goods. Next, it involves transaction between the producers, consumers, and the middleman. Even the product is produced by the producers of our home countries, some of the middlemen will come to involve. So without the involved, the produced product will never come to the hands of the consumers. So in the sense, from the producers to wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, and from the retailer to consumer will get that product. Next, it consists of a distributions network, middlemen and agencies engaged in exchange of goods and services. So in this internal trade, many of the middlemen and the agents and the franchises and many of the persons also will come. Next, in home trade, the risk of transportation is very less when compared to the foreign trade, because in this internal trade we can easily arrange the road transport and even in the air transport and the ship transport also, but the cost of transport will be very less compared to the foreign trade. Next, in home trade, the laws prevailing in that country only have to be followed. So what type of the law is going to followed or going to prevailing in our nations, that same law only is going to followed. So there is no any restrictions. Next, the aim of home trade is to provide the goods and services economically, because one of the basis objectives of the internal trade is providing the goods and services to our people of home countries as a reasonable price. So here the most of the peoples are will be expecting the equilibrium point. Next, the goods must be a part of domestic productions. The goods must be a part of domestic productions. So what type of the product may be, this all type of product must be produced in the domestic countries. Next, goods must be purchased from an individual or a firm established within a countries. So the even the single or individual persons or any of the firm, so it has to be purchased within the boundaries itself. Next, goods can be delivered using locally available modes of transport. So what are the local available transports are available, that availability transports only is going to use for transferring the goods from one place to another one of the places. Next, it does not involve any customs import duty, but buyers need to pay the taxes to the government. Okay, here the producers or the wholesalers will not be in need of paying the customs or import duty, but the buyers only will be paying the tax to the government in the form of indirect taxes. Okay, student. So the features of internal trades are there. 10 points. It is very easiest, so you can easily understand. Next, foreign trade. So foreign trade is a trade between a seller and buyer of different countries. It involves the exchange of goods and services of one country with another country. because no nations will have being in the self-reliance and the self-sufficient in any of the products of goods and commodities. So all the nations have to depending with the another nations. So anyway, the purchasing and the buying and the selling activities will takes place between the two countries. It's considered as a foreign trade. And the foreign trade also can be classified as a three types. First one is import trade and the export trade and the end-report trade. So we can already know, we have studied already about the import and the export and the end-report. So import trade means, already we know, the import trade means the buying goods from a foreign country to domestic use. In these home countries, if we are being insufficient goods and services, we will be in the need of importing any of the goods and services from the foreign country. So the buying the goods from a foreign country to domestic use is considered as a import trade. Next, the export trade. The export trade means the sale of domestic goods to the foreign countries. For the demand of the foreign countries, if you are exporting any of the goods and services to other nations, it is considered as export trade. So this both type of the trade already we have studied. The another one of the type of trade also is there. I think you may not have studied. So that is the end-report trade. The end-report trade means the importing of goods from one country and exporting the same goods to the foreign country. It also known as the re-export trade. Okay, for example, if India is exporting any of the goods to the America, mean the America is importing any of the goods, and after importing the goods by the America will be exporting the same goods to the Singapore. So this is called as a end-report trade. By receiving the goods from one nations and after modifying the same goods, if you are export to the another one of the nations, that is called end-report trade. Okay students, thank you. So our 21st and the 22nd chapter is very easiest chapter. So within the one class I have completed these lessons. So in these lessons, if you have any doubt, please ask me in our interactive sections, and just to take your study portions as the features of internal trade. Okay, thank you.